Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Sam, the Deputy Leader of Opposition, the Prime Minister of today's debate, and we, the government, strongly support the motion today. Before moving on, I would first like to rebut to all of the arguments made by our Leader of Opposition. To our first argument, the riot, they have said many people are against war. However, the point is that willing to go to war and actually having a war is quite different. We will, as we defined in our Prime Minister's speech, we have defined willing as to only go to war when provoked first by Japan. Then will we go to the actual war. So it's quite different. And also, they have said to our second argument, which is Dokdo is Korean territory, that they must negotiate with Japan in some peaceful way, they have said. However, and they have also said the same thing in their first argument about non-violent measures to solve the case, and they have kept on saying about negotiation being the most important to solve the case. However, South Korea has been trying to negotiate with Japan for 30 years, since 1970s. However, all the proposals have been ended up with decline by the Japan, and also the Japan has kept been trying to move the case to the ISJ, the International Court, because they are way more advantageous than South Korea due to their diplomatic advantages. And for all those 30 years, now we know that this is already the useless method, and also this does not necessarily mean we are actually going to war. We are willing to go to war, and also yes, and also as we have defined we will go to war when provoked. So we will of course try to solve the case as peaceful way as possible. However, we will go to war only when provoked first by Japan, and this is obvious since the other country attacked attacked our nation, and it is just right that we go to war as to defend our country. And now we will move on to our third argument, our national image. One of the main reasons why the Dokdo-K dispute has been brought up at the first place is the weak national image of South Korea. Although many people might consider this as a bias, in fact this is based on many evidences. Looking back at the history, Japan has been a country that shows weakness to the stronger nation, but exaggerate their power in front of the weaker nation. And Dokdo is not the only case Japan had the dispute with over the territory. There also was a group of islands called Kuril, even bigger than Dokdo, situated right between Japan and Russia. However, when dispute was brought up, Japan didn't take as much action as they did with Dokdo, and they have just given up this island to Russia. There also was a dispute over the island called Senkaku recently with China, when the world-leading nation China oppressed a strong force on Japan for territorial dispute. Japan couldn't squeak a word. But why are they being so aggressive for an island that is not even as big as Kuril or Senkaku? That's because due to the history of colonization of Japan over Korea, and Japan has a very strong tendency of considering South Korea as a weak nation. According to Japan Times, almost 70% of Japanese were reported to consider South Korea as the weaker nation than Japan. However, even if Japan think of Korea as the weaker nation, when oppressed with war, even Japan will hesitate to continue this dispute, because in war there is no winning side. Both sides ends up with tragedy, and Japan wouldn't be willing to continue the dispute on an island much smaller than the island they have easily given up previously. And we, the opposition, believe that now is the right time for Korea to get more aggressive or Dokdo, a territory that is rightfully ours. And let me repeat that we would have this Korea, we would only go to war when provoked, and if there is a most peaceful way possible, we will try that measure to solve the case in the most peaceful way. However, when provoked first by Japan, we will take a necessary action by going to the war, and we would like you to remember that we have already tried as much peaceful way as possible before. And for all these reasons, our first argument about the riots, the possibility of riot by the citizens, and second, Dokdo is rightfully a Korean territory, and thirdly, that we should have a stronger national image. We, the government, strongly support the motion today. Thank you.